Alright guys, it's me Big Rick and I'm back with a new video, and this time I'm going to be talking about the top 5 trade rumors that are out there, and I'm just going to give you my opinion on whether they're realistic or not. But before I start, if you can do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and it helps me get more of these videos out to you. So let's get to it. So all these rumors basically started as soon as Brian Windhurst posted this tweet saying, I say within the next 12 months, a star slash superstar player demands a trade to New York, and I don't know who it's going to be. I have some guesses. I'm not going to say right here. I'll let you guys start thinking about it. Okay, so that started a whole avalanche of who's going to be. And some names thrown out there are a little ridiculous. I don't see any evidence of why they would come this way. So let's look at some of the names that have been thrown out there that people think are coming our way. The first off is Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is having a monster year for the Chicago Bulls. He's averaging 28.7 points per game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds per game. He's shooting 44% from long range. So, I mean, he's having a dominant year. He's an all-star. I would love to have him on the Knicks. I'd love to have him over here. I mean, he would help us out so much. The problem is, what would we have to give up for him? Because the one thing is that we don't want to give up the nucleus of this team. We don't want to give up a Mitchell Robinson. We don't want to give up a Julius Randle. We don't want to give up an RJ Barrett. Uh, so, what do we have to give up? And obviously, we're going to have to go draft picks, which I don't mind giving up the Dallas draft picks, but what else are we going to have to give back? And I just don't see us getting him unless we give up major assets, which is our youth, especially IQ. I would not give up IQ. So I don't see this happening at all. So next, we move on to Devin Booker. Devin Booker is interesting because Leon Rose was his representative before he quit and joined the Knicks. And he has that Kentucky connection, and everybody knows we are now the New York Kentucky Wildcats. Uh, but again, this one I don't see happening. Why would he leave a team that is currently in second place in the West? I mean, they are 24-11, and he has a surrounding cast around him that is just an amazing cast. He has Chris Paul. I mean, granted, he is on his last legs. He's 35 years old, but he's still averaging 16 points. He could probably play another 2, 3 years. Mikal Bridges, he's a good player. Frank Kaminsky, average player. DeAndre Ayton, very good player. And they got Jay Crowder coming off the bench. And Jay Crowder, he might not be a superstar, but he's that guy that he reminds me of like an Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley type, that energy guy, that guy who's going to get down in the dirt and fight for you. And I really feel this is why Miami is suffering this year. They let him go, and now they don't have that toughness. And now the Suns do. And the Suns are now in second. They're ahead of the Lakers and the Clippers. I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year they would be ahead of the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Nuggets, I would have said no way. But granted, I would have never thought Utah would be in first place either. So there goes that. So that's two of them. Damian Lillard is interesting because again, I would love to have Damian Lillard. Love to have him. But on many occasions he has spoken out against leaving an organization just to chase rings. Like he wants to win with one organization, stay with one franchise. I don't see him forcing a trade. Um, I mean, I even found this article here that you can read that I found on Bleacher Report. It states that Portland Trail Blazers point guard Damian Lillard said Friday he shares similar feelings with Washington Wizards Bradley Beal about wanting to stay with one franchise. Lillard told Fred Katz and Jason Quick of The Athletic he often catches up with Beal, a popular target ahead of the March 25th NBA trade deadline, and they usually discuss their desires to find success with their current team rather than move around to chase a championship. Now, this is the reason I believe Damian Lillard is not going to force a trade. He's been with the Blazers his whole career, and he's been there for a long time. I think he's going to continue with them. He's not going to be asking for a trade to New York. Bradley Beal, on the other hand, I think is different, and we'll discuss Bradley Beal next. You see, it clearly states he wants to stay with one team and win one franchise. So I just don't see Damian Lillard coming over to the New York Knicks. Next, Bradley Beal. Now, granted, I know in the last clip I said that just like Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal wants to win with one franchise, stay on the same franchise and win with them. But I see a different situation with Bradley Beal. I think he's playing it up. I don't think he's happy in Washington. And I don't see Washington getting good anytime soon. I don't see them as a destination spot. Russell Westbrook, yeah, the team has gotten better since he's gotten there, and they might make the playoffs. But I don't think they have the assets around them to improve. Um, I think he's gonna wait till next year. That's why I think it's the key word in that whole tweet is that he says is within the next 12 months. So that means the next trade deadline. So I think he's gonna wait till the next trade deadline when he's almost a free agent, where then he can force his hand and say, I want to be traded because I'm not going to re up with you guys. And these are the teams I'm willing to accept to go to. And that's when he's going to drop the Knicks. He's going to say, I want to go to the Knicks, and that's it. I won't accept a trade to any other team. Otherwise, if you don't trade me, I'm not going to sign with you, and you're not going to get anything. At that point, Washington's going to have to accept some type of trade. So I could see Bradley Beal coming to the Knicks. I could see that one. And if he comes to the Knicks and we get to keep Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, I think we are a pretty solid team when we keep Mitchell Robinson. That becomes a very solid team. That gives us two All-Stars. And I think we're just one more player away from being like a title contender, depending on the step that RJ Barrett takes in his third year. So let's see, the last player on this list, and of course, this goes back to Tom Thibodeau's years in Minnesota, and it is KarlAnthony Towns. I don't see this happening. I mean, it ended ugly for Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota, and him and KarlAnthony Towns just butted heads. I mean, KarlAnthony Towns, yes, he is legit, but it's just not going to work. We finally have like a cohesive unit in New York. Why do we want to bring in someone who's going to butt heads with the coach that's putting it all together? I just don't see that happening. It's not. So, of all the people being mentioned here, the one I see most likely, if I had to rank them in order, I would say Bradley Beal is the most likely. Uh, then I'm going to go with, let's say, I would say Zach LaVine. I think maybe he forces his way out. Then maybe Devin Booker, uh, Damian Lillard, and then I would say KarlAnthony Towns. Though, if I had to put them in order of most likely to least likely, that's my order. Uh, so leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think. Which one is most likely to happen? Which is least likely to happen? What's your order? Um, which one would you like to see on this team? Which one do you think makes the quickest impact for us? Will give us the most wins if we made the move. So just let me know, and I'm out. Peace.